His hands are shaking, breathing short and fast, heart pounds. Sweat pours down Daniel's brow. His mind races. His life is in danger. He can't take any chances. The drugs have made him slow, his movements sluggish. If something does happen, he can't defend himself. The only option is to get the hell out of here. He steps back, legs trembling. Laythe peers up with a menacing smile. He breathes in sharply, clears his throat, points the blade directly at Daniel's chest. Stay a little longer. We were just getting started. Daniel bolts for the doorway, throws it open and slams it behind him. It took a moment to notice he was running, sprinting into the black night, the heavy rain soaking his pajamas. What just happened? Did I just almost die? What did I do to make him act like that? He's my best friend, my only real friend. Did he just try and kill me? He'd run a full mile by the time he dared to look back. Good, Laythe wasn't following. He slowed his pace and considered his next move. Most of the people he knew in this city were long gone. The only person he still spoke to was Sam. His house was on the other side of the city, more than an hour's walk away. Plenty of time to pull himself together and make sense of what just happened. What did just happen? Daniel woke with a jolt, delirious from a night of poor sleep. Confused, lying on the floor, the room had bright blue walls dotted with half-finished paintwork and hole filler overflows. He dragged himself up and rubbed his eyes. They felt heavy. A large fitted wardrobe stared down at him from the end of the room. Piles of filing cabinets each side, like he was in some kind of fortress. He noticed Sam sleeping on the bed. He stood and opened the curtains. Looked like a sunny day. He'd made big plans for the first few days in the new house. Unpacking, gardening, furniture buying. Now though, in Sam's house, sore from sleeping on the hard floor with just a thin blanket and no pillow, all he could think about was that knife and Laythe's tortured smile. A walk, he thought. A walk will do me good. Still in his pajamas, Daniel put on a dressing gown and slippers that he found in Sam's wardrobe. Being out in the fresh air, some light exercise, warmth from the sun, this would help his brain to work properly again. The sky was empty, not a cloud in sight. The intense sunlight produced vivid colors in every direction. Lawns with 1,000 shades of bright green, shiny polished cars, fluffy tabby cats relaxing atop stinky wheelie bins. However interesting the scenery was, his mind was whirring too fast to notice. As far as he could tell, there were two possibilities for what had happened. The first was that he had lost his mind. He had heard about psychosis and schizophrenia, and considered if he might be crazy. He couldn't imagine anything worse than the fate awaiting him if he turned up at an asylum and said, "I think I'm delusional." The second possibility was even more disturbing, that Laythe was not who he said he was, that he had ill intent toward Daniel, who somehow never figured it out. Last night, he must have finally seen it. How else could he explain the terror he felt at the sight of Laythe with that knife? He'd seen friends holding knives before. He'd never felt scared. Why now? Why with him? His thoughts were too disorganized to make progress. Sam hadn't been much help either. He'd been confused that Daniel showed up in soaking wet pajamas at 2 a.m. on a weeknight. Sam had sighed, said, "Come in," then threw the blanket on the floor. "Sorry, I don't have a sleeping bag." Daniel had wanted to tell him everything that had just happened, there and then. But where would he start? When he returned from his walk, Sam was awake and making coffee. "Big night?" Sam asked with a smile. "You could say that. Listen, I'm so sorry for dropping in like that. Something pretty crazy happened last night." "Daniel, you know I'm always here for you, mate. Just please give me a heads up next time." "I will." Sam finished making the coffee, then continued his morning routine. He wasn't asking about it, thank God. "Okay, I've got to get to class. You gonna be alright?" Sam was doing his PhD in physics, the subject they'd studied together as undergraduates a few years back. "Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Sam. I'll explain everything once I've figured out what it all means." Sam took a deep breath and smiled. "Sure. Take care of yourself, Daniel. Let's meet for coffee soon. He nodded as Sam handed him some jeans, a t-shirt and shoes. Now alone in Sam's house, Daniel drank his coffee and went over his options. I could go to the police, and then tell them what? I'm not injured. If I said my best friend tried to kill me, they might arrest him, but then I'd have to prove that it happened. If I can't, he'd be released and have even more reason to come back and kill me. This could all have just been in my head, but it felt so real. I'd never felt so scared in my life. There's no way that was just in my head. Something weird is going on. Maybe he wasn't actually going to kill me. Maybe he was just threatening me in some kind of power play. I need more to go on. I can't make a decision based on one incident. I have to stay safe. I need to be sure before I do anything. He took a deep breath and started walking home. Thank you for listening. This is Time Not Here. It's my first novel. I'd love it if you could check it out on Amazon. It's easy to find. You can get it in paperback or Kindle. I'd love to get your feedback on it. I'd love to hear what it means to you. With any luck, I'll be back very soon to read chapter 2 for you. Peace, love, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.